What would give you complete joy? I want to think about that today. Now, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel where I teach the Bible, hit the bell, make comments, and do everything you can to help me get this out to as many people as I can. And I want you to consider what would give you complete joy. A couple $1,000,000 in the bank, would that give you complete joy? A bigger house? A bigger retirement? Your kids getting into exactly the right college? One of your kids playing professional sports? What would give you complete joy? Well, the old Apostle John talked about complete joy. And he said in 1 John chapter 1, verse 4, he says this, "We write this to make our joy complete." And I want to show you in the 3 verses that precede that what he was talking about that made his joy complete, because it's a big deal. Verse 1 of 1 John chapter 1. "That which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we've seen with our eyes, which we have looked at and our hands have touched, this we proclaim concerning the word of life." Well, what was from the beginning that he proclaimed that was about the word of life? Okay. Well, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He spoke them into existence. And what was from the beginning was the word that spoke the whole creation into existence. And that word took on flesh. And it came into the world as Jesus of Nazareth, the Messiah, died on a cross to pay for our sin, was raised bodily from the dead. And what John is talking about is this. He said he's heard and seen and touched that which was from the beginning concerning the word of life. He touched Jesus. He'd heard Jesus. He'd seen Jesus. And he'd seen him before he was killed on the cross. And he'd seen him when he was dead. And he saw him when he was raised from the dead. He'd experienced Jesus. It was what he had seen from the beginning. And what brought him joy was proclaiming Jesus. That's where the joy came from, because he had been from the beginning and he was now proclaiming him to people, and that brought him great joy. Look at verse 2. "The life appeared, and we have seen it and testified to it. We proclaim to you the eternal life which was with the Father and has appeared to us." What eternal life was with the Father and appeared to us? Jesus. Jesus is the person of eternal life who was with the Father, and he appeared to us. The miracle of the virgin birth, the incarnation, God becoming flesh, showing up on earth and paying for our sin on the cross, being buried and being raised from the dead. He appeared to us, and John saw him, touched him, and experienced him and heard him personally when he was ministering, when he was teaching, when he was dying on the cross, and when he was raised from the dead. The joy was in Jesus and his reality and proclaiming him, because he had appeared to bring salvation to mankind. Look at verse 3. "We proclaim to you what we have seen and heard, so that you may have fellowship with us, and our fellowship is with the Father and with his Son, Jesus Christ." They proclaim what they've seen and heard. He experienced Jesus. This is eyewitness stuff. He's not whistling Dixie in the breeze. He saw and touched and experienced Jesus, and he's proclaiming him. And he's proclaiming him so that people could have fellowship with John and other believers. And then their fellowship, that means sharing of life. Their sharing of life was with the Father and with his Son, Jesus Christ. He's doing this so that they could share fellowship with God, so that they could have a personal relationship with God and with others who had a personal relationship with God. The joy was in proclaiming Jesus so that other people could have fellowship with Jesus and know God in a personal way. That is where joy comes from. We look in a lot of places for joy, but joy comes from knowing God through Jesus. Hang on to that and never let go. I will talk to you again soon.